নমস্কার, I am Rudra Saha, Member Expert Committee on School Education. Welcome you to the Health and Physical Education Teachers Training Program for Primary Teachers, organized by Department of School Education, Government of West Bengal, Poschimbongo Samogro Shiksha Mission, West Bengal Board of Primary Education, and Expert Committee on School Education. With me are two members from Expert Committee, Mr. Anindo Sengupta and Mr. Deepen Bosu.
Welcome.
We would like to know from Mr. Deepen Bose what is the importance of health and physical education in the school curriculum.
Based on the recommendation of NCF 2005 and the directives of RTE 2009, health and physical education is an integral part of the primary level school curriculum. Now, health and physical education is a core subject in school level. There are two main components of health and physical education curriculum. One is health education, another is physical education. As per World Health Organization, health is not merely an absence of diseases and infirmity. It is a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being that enable every individual to lead a complete life. On the other hand, physical education refers to education through physical activity to achieve the all-round development of an individual. Right to Education Act 2009, Right of the Child to Free and Compulsory Education Act 2009, all-round development of the child. The development of the physical and mental ability to the fullest extent. Aim of health and physical education is holistic development of the student. For achieving this aim, the objective must include physical development, cognitive development, social development, emotional development, aesthetic development, and development of the motor skill of the learner. One is development of fine motor skill and another is development of gross motor skill. New dimension of health and physical education curriculum. Following activity were included in health and physical education curriculum: local folk games, action song, athletics, calisthenics, gymnastics, yogason, value education, health awareness, sports awareness, brotochari, recreational game, traditional games. Moral education, good habit, health education, peace education, education on cleanliness, first aid, service to the local community, disaster management, road safety, food safety, local indigenous games. Aim of health and physical education curriculum: physical development of the student, social development, emotional development, aesthetic development, cognitive development of the student. Why does the children play? There are several theories of play: surplus energy theory of play, recreational theory of play, catharsis theory of play, preventive theories of play. Area of domain covered through health and physical education curriculum: mainly psychomotor domain, affective domain and cognitive domain. Benefit of participation in health and physical education curriculum: it's develop the knowledge, skill, value and attitude of the student. Scope of health and physical education curriculum: there are 4 areas that are related to health and physical education, yoga and physical education. There are personal health, physical and psychosocial development, fundamental movement skill, fundamental motor skill, relationship with other subjects, healthy communities and environment. Health physical education enhance the physical literacy. Physical literacy is the motivation, confidence, physical competencies, knowledge and understanding to value and take responsibility for engagement in physical activity for lifelong.
In this respect, Mr. Dipen Boshu had said a very interesting thing, that is health and physical education. Now, the subject health and physical education has two terms. One is health and physical education. I would ask Rudrasekhar Saha to please say something. How is health related to physical education?
Since physical well-being is only one aspect of a person's overall health, physical education is often thought of as a part of health education. Health education is an activity aimed at the improvement of health-related knowledge, attitudes, and behavior. I would like to ask Mr. Sengupta, what is the importance of health and physical education in the school curriculum?
Health and physical education is an integral part of modern day school education because it helps the students in varied forms. Actually, it gives various kinds of development. In modern day school education, the main aim and objective is holistic development. As a result, what we look forward is various kinds of development of the child, which includes linguistic development, cognitive development, aesthetic development, social development, emotional development, of course, physical development, and psychomotor development. So all these developments are required for the three main things, that is the child's cognitive, aesthetic, as well as psychomotor, each related to the other. And that is why health and physical education plays a major role in modern school education.
Then the question comes, what are the aims and objectives of health and physical education?
Aims of physical education, rather health and physical education, it actually talks about the development just not of physical development, but also the child's emotional or rather psychological development, aesthetic development, social development, various motor receptive skills, of course cognitive development, that is an essential feature. When we talk about the objectives, the objective of health and physical education is to help the children to learn, develop and maintain good health, as well as just not good health because of physical activities and games, indigenous games, as well as calisthenics, yogasana, as Dipen had been saying, but at the same time nurturing some good habits like timely sleep, nutritious food, regular exercises, maintaining health habit. It also points out the physical fitness, maintaining physical fitness of the child, which actually leads to development of neuromuscular coordination for developing rather various postures and of course avoiding physical deformities. And also it helps the child to participate in different kinds of games and activities and also develop some basic skills. Aims of physical education, rather health and physical education, it actually talks about the development just not of physical development, but also the child's emotional or rather psychological development, aesthetic development, social development, various motor receptive skills, Of course, cognitive development, that is an essential feature. When we talk about the objectives, the objective of health and physical education is to help the children to learn, develop and maintain good health, as well as just not good health because of physical activities and games, indigenous games, as well as calisthenics, yogasana, as Dipen had been saying, but at the same time nurturing some good habits like timely sleep, nutritious food, regular exercises, maintaining health habit. It also points out the physical fitness, maintaining physical fitness of the child, which actually leads to development of neuromuscular coordination for developing various postures and of course avoiding physical deformities. And also it helps the child to participate in different kinds of games and activities and also develop some basic skills. This also helps the child to improve the neuromuscular coordination for developing various postures and at the same time avoiding physical fitness. Another objective is to help the child participate in different games and sports and also develop the basic physical skills. But at the same time, health and physical education also develops the leadership qualities of the child, and at the same time it helps him to manage various injuries of sports and games, and at the same time appropriate using of the leisure time. The child has ample leisure time, and the subject's main objective is how to manage, how to use that leisure time of the child. It also develops the integrity of the child and also maintain balanced personality. Health and physical education's another objective is to develop patriotic feelings among the children who are studying the subject. At the same time, it also helps in realizing the process that the child is gradually growing up. So it also points out that the student's responsibility in peace education, nowadays this is a very important aspect, that peace education should be included so that the child realizes the importance of peace, and that can be done through the study of health and physical education, and as he grows up he becomes an active, responsible, reflective member of the society. At the same time, he receives various ideas, various knowledge from institutions, and thereby able to practice it in real life situation. And finally, I would rather point out that the various values, various duties, various responsibilities that the child learns, which is also a major objective of studying health and physical education. So all these things, as a child learns, he or she learns through joyful learning. So that is a major aspect of health and physical education as envisaged in Right to Education Act and National Curriculum Framework. So this basically summarizes the main objectives, aims and objectives of studying health and physical education. So as we are actually talking about the aims and objectives of study, one question often comes to me. I would rather ask Deepen to clarify on it. What is universal education?
Thank you, Anindoda. The aim of universal education are universal enrollment, universal retention, and quality management. Component of quality physical education: quality learner, quality learning environment, quality content, quality process, quality learning outcome. We develop quality health and physical education textbook, teachers training manual, and also the content of the health and physical education.
So regarding the quality education, I would like to know from Anindoda, how is quality education imparted through health and physical education?
Quality, when we often talk about, it talks about knowledge, it talks about various skills, values, and of course behavior. And the quality learner actually inculcates all these qualities through health and physical education. The child, by learning and practicing whatever skills he acquires through health and physical education, he becomes a well-nourished, healthy child who is ready to participate in different activities, and at the same time he or she is very inquisitive to learn and be supported by learning by their families, communities, and societies. So it also points out that the child becomes a responsible future citizen who is always very protective and sensitive to the other members of the society, to the elders, to the ailing people, and provide adequate resources and facilities to whatever measure he or she can, and thereby make himself and the environment a healthy and safe place. It also, so as we are talking about quality education, the quality content becomes so all the more important, and there are certain materials that are included in the syllabus and curriculum of health and physical education that actually helps in the acquisition of these major basic skills, especially for the development of literacy. Now this is a very major, a key role that health and physical education rather plays, and the key role is that the child develops the skill in literacy, in numeracy, as well as certain life skills and knowledge in certain areas like gender, health, nutrition, and peace. So this is another interesting part as we are talking that the child gains knowledge in gender, in health, which ensures that the entire curriculum of health and physical education is child-centric, and it is basically a shift from the teacher-centric approach which was followed earlier on and in schools, and thereby the teacher basically facilitates the child to develop these skills, and thereby rather reduces disparities among the children in regards to rather various criteria like gender, like caste, creed, etc. It also encompasses the outcomes, encompasses that knowledge, skill, values, attitudes, all these areas are linked with the national goals for education, and that is a major aspect for learning health and physical education. This summarizes basically that is the quality that is there, or the quality education that is in health and physical education. In this respect, as I was discussing about it, a question that came to my mind is, what is learning outcome? Dipen, could you please actually tell us what is learning outcome?
Thank you. A learning outcome is a statement of what the learner is expected to know, understand, and be able to do or demonstrate at the end of period of learning.
And how are the learning outcome of health and physical education? Rather, what are the learning outcomes of health and physical education in the primary level of school education?
As you see in the slides, the expected learning outcomes for class 1 students are: the learner develops physical fitness and mental coordination. He performs rendition of Brotochari songs. He develops psychomotor skills and locomotor skills, develops different skills of eating healthy food, adopts habit of using toilet, demonstrates different ways of washing hands, develops body control, manipulative skills, body management skills, and neuromuscular coordination through gymnastics, develops mathematical concepts through participation in recreational games, develops linguistics concepts about different body parts through participation in recreational games, develops good body management skills, develops physical flexibility through Yogasana, develops concept of road safety. When he reaches class 2, the learner develops physical fitness and mental coordination, develops values of body management skills or self-care through day-to-day activities, demonstrates the content of Sahaj Path through physical activities, explains the national symbols of India, demonstrates the learning areas of other subjects through physical activities, shows sensitivity towards awareness of health and hygiene and practice the principles in his or her life, demonstrates the concept of language and mathematics through physical activities, discusses about personal safety and practice in his or her life, develops good manipulative skills, that is handwriting, drawing, modeling, etc., uses locomotor skills to perform his or her day-in-day works, performs different Yogasana. When he reaches class 3, the learner develops good habits for maintaining good health, develops body management skills through imitative games, develops manipulative skills like flexibility, strength, endurance through Yogasana, discusses about food safety and nutrition, develops coordination and body management skills through gymnastics, develops locomotive skills, discusses about causes and precautions needed to avoid risks associated with fire and flood, appreciate the value of water conservation through Jal Dharo Jal Bharo project, demonstrates about road safety measures through rhymes and drawing, adopts values in life by reading stories, discusses about causes and symptoms of a few pediatric diseases, develops awareness about child rights and significance of Kanyashree. This is all learning outcomes at the primary level. And the next question comes, what are the different themes of health and physical education as reflected in the different textbooks of primary education of West Bengal?
There are so many themes in health and physical education curriculum. The curriculum theme of class 1 are fundamental movement skills, patriotism, Brotochari, good posture, gymnastics, Yogasana, calisthenics, method of writing alphabet. Let's learn to draw. Let's learn to write and identify. Value education, road safety. Curriculum theme of class 2, moral education, national emblem, sports awareness, learning while play, respect for women, recreational game, safety education, awareness on good touch and bad touch. Local folk games, action song, athletics, calisthenics, gymnastics, yogasun and value education. The curriculum theme of class 3, fundamental sports skill, good habits, yogasun, brotochari, gymnastics, fire safety education, recreational game, pyramid, athletics, indigenous game, kho-kho, health awareness, physical fitness, report card, one-day camp and value education. The curriculum theme of class 4, gymnastic, recreational game, yogasun, sanitation, child cabinet, chess, athletic, road safety, etc.
We have learnt about the various themes that are included in the textbooks of health and physical education in the primary level. I would rather like to know from Rudra, how can health and physical education be conducted in the present scenario classroom? What methodology will the teacher adopt to conduct the classroom?
We all know about the icon model. It should be followed, rather may be followed in ideal classroom situation. We know there are 7 steps of icon model. First one is observation. Learner observe authentic situations. Number 2, interpretation construction, where learner creates an interpretation and a rationale for that interpretation. Third, contextualization, where the learner access background information. 4, cognitive apprenticeship. Learner develops skills under the guidance of a teacher. 5, collaboration. Learners collaborate in interpretation and contextualization. 6, multiple interpretation, where the learner gains cognitive flexibility by being exposed to other viewpoints or interpretations. And lastly, multiple manifestations, where the learners enhance transfer by seeing multiple representations of the same interpretation. Anindita, would you please explain what is CCE and how can the teacher of health and physical education conduct CCE, and what are the rubrics for health and physical education?
RTE 2009 has clearly stated about CCE, or comprehensive and continuous evaluation. Now, in that particular term, comprehensive and continuous evaluation, there are the 3 sections. One is comprehensive, another is continuous, and the third part is evaluation. Firstly, I would talk about continuous. What is continuous evaluation? It has 2 major sections. One, we call it continuum. The other section, we call it periodicity. Continuum is a process-based thing, whereas periodicity means product-based. And the other part is comprehensive. Now, comprehensive includes that the child is assessed in various areas. Various areas includes, of course, physical development of the child or the learner. Second, the cognitive development of the learner, aesthetic development, social development, linguistic development. Basically, here we are trying to assess the 2 major areas, both interrelated. One is the scholastic area, the other is the co-scholastic area. Earlier, the co-scholastic areas are neglected, but in CCE, both scholastic as well as co-scholastic are given equal importance. Regarding CCE, as we are talking about continuous, we are talking about the process-based, which we also known as the formative evaluation, and the product-based, we are known as the summative evaluation. So both formative and summative evaluation are to be conducted by the teachers within the classroom, as well as since it's a physical education, therefore some areas will be in the playground, and thereby the child's development is gradually, which is a process, is gradually rather looked upon, it is assessed, and the teacher gives rather facilitates areas where those in those areas where the child is lacking behind. So both in continuous as well as comprehensive evaluation, we find that in continuous evaluation, particularly as we are talking about the formative, it is basically a kind of diagnostic areas. Now, it is a diagnostic assessment in the sense the teacher understands which area the child is lacking behind, and thereby as the teacher focuses on those problem areas or other areas where the child is lacking behind, the teacher can provide certain remedials or helps in those areas. The two students also can understand that here are my problem areas, and thereby the student tries to overcome those problem areas with the feedback, with the help, with the facilitation that the teacher provides. Now, what kind of formative evaluation that the teacher will rather perform? The teacher will rather engage the child through various kinds of classwork, oral questions, quizzes, projects, assignments, maybe tests. In the pre-primary level curriculum, there are various kinds of themes. On the basis of those themes, the various kinds of assessments can be done. In summative evaluation, on the other hand, is basically an end-term examination, and the curriculum syllabus which has been rather prepared by the board, but the question papers will be rather prepared by the individual schools, and the exam also has to be conducted by the schools. Answer scripts will be rather corrected by the respective school teachers. So this in all is the CCE. It helps the students not only rather we do not assess the students at the end of the term, but it also helps the students in overcoming the difficulties in acquiring those areas of skills.
Then about rubric, what is rubric and what rubrics are to be followed?
Yes, this particular term is now a very important thing, and rubric basically is a marking tool that helps the students to understand which level I am and what are the other things, skills I have to acquire to reach the highest level. Generally, an internationally accepted, it's a 4-skill rubric. Now, basically, in education, or in other words, we can call it, it's a scoring guideline which is used to evaluate the quality of study and its constructive responses. So, it's an assessment tool. It's an assessment tool or a marking criteria by which a student as well as the teacher understands the level of the student, and thereby what are the things that the student has to acquire to reach the expected level of learning expected level. Now, how can the students perform? That comes in the next level. The child's performance is beyond, that is, if we talk about level 1, that is, the child's performance is beyond the expected level. Level 2 comes when child's performance is as per the expected level but needs more practice and support. The third level is child's performance is as per average level but may need something more. Fourth level, child needs support from teacher to reach the average level. So, and finally, if we talk about the CBA methodology, it has certain instruments like observation, demonstration, project, role play, oral presentation, portfolio, written questions, and case studies. This, in short, is basically what we talk about CCE, rubric, and everything. Now, if we try to have, the slide is shown here, that is regarding level of performance in formative evaluation, and particularly here an instance is given about yoga, and there are various attributes are given. And after that, group work of students in West Bengal, that is also shown in the slides. So this, in short, is basically about CC in rubric and rubric.
Thank you, Anindada. With this, we come to end of this training program. Thank you so much.